with Congressman Garcia's office. I'm on my iPhone, so sorry, I need to take a call on the other phone. She'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We are 7:00. Okay, down there?
Everybody okay down there?
Okay.
Meeting out of the County Council, please come to order. This is our community meeting, which started promptly at 7:00. So it's just an energy meeting. Flags. We've got flag. Are we ready? I can call this meeting.
Please station. Station the flag. Put your right hand over your heart and to the flag, which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Resident Deputy Martinez, are you with us virtually?
Yep, I'm out here. I'm in the ether of the intranet.
Okay, you got the floor, so let's hear it.
Okay, so for the month of May, we had 31 observational calls, like those are self-initiated calls by officers, 32 crime calls, 3 medical calls, 2 Part 1 crime, which brings our total to 11. Last year at this time we were at 6, so that is an 83% increase, but that's small numbers make big difference in that. And then our property crimes were 7. We're bringing our total to 28, which is a 9.3% decrease in overall crime. Like if you take the 2 numbers, the Part 1 and the property crime, from last year we're still down, but the Part 1s are up. I don't know if you guys heard, but Prop 47 is going to be on the ballot, the repeal, so we want you guys to please do your research and vote accordingly, and hopefully that will help with a lot of the retail theft and a lot of the other crimes that are going on. If you're planning to attend the 4th of July parade in Acton, we usually are a little bit lenient on the hard closure time. This year they're really harping on us on a hard closure at 7:30 in the morning, so plan accordingly. We are not going to let anyone through, so if you need to get to inside the parade route, I guess last year some people almost got ran over, so this year it's a hard closure at 7:30 and that's it. So if you're planning to attend, just plan accordingly, because usually they let people go until like almost with parade time start at 9. You guys got anything for me? I'll stick around.
Anybody have any questions this evening for Officer Martinez? If not, thank you very much for attending, and if something comes up, I'll definitely let you know.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Next up, we have report from the California Highway Patrol. Officer Delgado, I believe.
Officer Delgado, are you here, or Officer Allen? Officer Allen is on vacation.
Okay.
He emailed his report. He said he would try to jump in, and I said, you're on vacation.
Yeah, no jumping in.
This is not important. So he had said, one fatal traffic crash on Sierra Highway in Sand Canyon at the beginning of the month. That's an open investigation. Alcohol is believed to be a contributing factor. One party was arrested. And due to the increase of injury crashes on Sierra Highway, Officer Allen, as well as several other officers, conducted multiple special enforcement unit operations in the area. Most of the added enforcement was during the early commute hours. In the future, they'll be conducting more operations in the evening commute. Memorial Day weekend conducted a DUI task force operation resulting in 20 DUI arrests and a felony arrest for pursuit of a motorcycle. So the May stats, there were 3 felony arrests, 1 DUI causing injury, 1 DUI causing death at Sand Canyon, and 1 stolen vehicle. 5 misdemeanors, 1 detention for a 50-50, 2 warrant arrests, and there were 149 citations, 87 on Sierra Highway, 7 on Soledad, 39 on adjacent county roads. Collisions were 12, 5 with property damage, 6 with injury, no hit and runs, and 1 fatal.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Mary, one thing to bring up, I noticed I've been wanting to say with the CHP reports, they're including a lot of what it technically is unincorporated county roads, but it is well within Santa Clarita. Like, it's not what you would even consider, I would say, like Sand Canyon and all that stuff. So
Right.
those numbers, taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah, they're kind of inflated.
Yes, because even like the Soledad, like they count like the unincorporated like into the Vons area and to hold it, which is nothing to do with Agua Dulce. So it's something that you might want to bring up in the future. And they also count. Last month, I also heard they were counting like Green Valley numbers. So
Right. Right. And I mean, even this crash, I mean, it's good to know down at Sand Canyon Sierra Highway, but that's really not in our jurisdiction.
yeah, that's it.
Thanks for that, and I will mention that to them, if they could somehow narrow it down so that it's just our area.
Yeah, I think our boundaries are pretty much close to it. I mean, they can see where it's at. But anyway, at least we're informed as to what's going on in the surrounding area. All right, that brings us to the Los Angeles County Fire Department report from Service Representative Maria.
And
Right?
Maria's on vacation.
Oh, good.
And I was wondering if the chief would be here. He thought he might be. Chief Springle, are you in? If not, I've got the report. May stats, 31 responses, 1 fire, there's a vehicle fire on the freeway, 20 EMS calls, 1 service call, hazardous condition, 8 good intent, and the safety tip is fireworks are illegal.
Okay.
And keep the brush clearance going.
That's it. You betcha. All right. So, look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. And of course, the always reliable, unflappable, Agua Dulce Library report from librarian Jim. Jim, are you with us tonight?
I am. I'm on Zoom tonight. How are you guys doing?
Perfect. Good.
Good. So I'm going to start off. I'm just going to mention that on about 2 weeks, on the 26th at 5 o'clock, that's a Wednesday night, we're having a sushi demonstration at the library. I've got a sushi chef coming in, and he's going to teach everyone how to make some. So come on by. I know it's something I have been asked about a lot recently. So he got him in, and he's going to be there. But all our programs are always on the website. Feel free to check those out. The other thing we've got going on is with the start of the month, we started our summer discovery program. So you can either sign up online at the website, lacountylibrary.org, and you read books and you can get prizes. And this is for all ages, from babies to adults. And I think the adults grand prize this year is going to be a Kindle Fire. I believe that's what they told me. So get in there and do it. If you don't want to do it online, you can come into the library and pick up a paper game card as well. And then the only other thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned is that next week on the 19th, the library will be closed for Juneteenth. And then we will also have another holiday on the 4th of July. We'll be closed that day as well.
Hello?
Unless you guys got any questions for me, that's what I've got.
Let's hold on a second here. Let's see, Jim. Let's clear in here and see if there's any hands raised out there in virtual land. I don't see any. So,
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Jim. We appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Okay, now we have the Department of Public Works, Josie. Is
Hello,
Josie-
good evening. I'm here. I'm Josie Gutierrez with LA County Public Works, and I have a few things to report. They're already mentioned in the agenda, but the next household hazardous waste and e-waste collection at our Palmdale, the Public Works Yard in Palmdale on Sierra Highway, that's on June 22nd. And then there's also a free tire collection event on the same day, Saturday, June 22nd, but that would be on the Metrolink station parking lot of Via Princesa.
Okay.
let me see what else. The North County Trash Collection Service. Hopefully this will be it, but we're hoping to. It's expected. The draft EIR is anticipated to be released for public review sometime next month in July. We originally was thinking June, but it's now July. So hopefully we'll have more info at your next meeting. Let's see. And then road improvement projects. The Sierra paving of Sierra Highway Phase 4, which is from about Center Street to Agua Dulce Canyon Road. It is still scheduled to start sometime this summer. Unfortunately, we do not yet have like an actual date. We're working on the schedule now, but I will send an email to the town council as soon as we get a definite date. But it's still projected to be done sometime this summer. And we're also have two other paving projects. They're both on Agua Dulce Canyon Road. Phase 2, that's from Escondido Canyon Road to Castle Haven Road. That's tentatively scheduled in October, but that all depends obviously with the weather. And then Phase 3, which is Castle Haven Road to Sierra Highway. This is also Agua Dulce Canyon Road. It's after that, so it's one after the other. But that all depends on the weather in the fall, obviously. Let me see. In case you're not aware, the summer beach bus service are now back on track, or they're starting again. There's, I guess, a few areas residents can take it, if either in Palmdale or in Lancaster. The bus service for those areas are Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, Sunday, and the last day would be Labor Day. The fare is $6 for children and adults, and $2 for seniors and persons with disabilities round trip. And then for those people that want, it's a little bit kind of far, but they could also catch the bus in Castaic, the Castaic Sports Complex, or the Richard Rue Memorial Park in Stevenson Ranch. But those days are Wednesdays, Fridays, and Labor Day. That's basically all I have, unless somebody have any questions for me.
I think you've done real well. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us here tonight, Josie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, so other reports. We're going to go into the 5th district report. Stephanie English.
And Stephanie's not here. She is doing the San Francisco traffic deal in Green Valley.
Right.
But I believe we have Natalie. Is Natalie?
Hi,
No, sorry,
Isabel.
Sorry.
No worries. That's okay. Hi, everyone. I know I've met some of you here and there at events, but my name is Isabel. I work with Stephanie. I'm very happy to be here. Super brief for me. I just a couple quick updates. I'm not sure exactly how Stephanie usually does it, but there was a couple things she wanted me to mention. So when was it? It was this last Tuesday at the board meeting, at the Board of Supervisors meeting. The board voted 3-2 on Supervisor Mitchell's motion to extend the current 4% rental increase cap on rental units in unincorporated areas of the county until the end of the year. I'm not sure if some of you guys had heard about that, but it was a captivating topic to many people the last week. Supervisor Barger voted no, as well as Supervisor Hahn. The motion essentially extends the 4% rental increase cap until the end of the year, and then they are basically planning right now what they're going to do with the new rent cap as of January of next year. There's a few other directives in the motion, and if anyone has questions, I'd be happy to get a little bit more into those details. And then other than that, I think this probably doesn't apply to most of you, but I thought I would mention it just in case. I know many of you are on a well system, but the district for the Santa Clarita Valley Sanitation Water District kind of gets close to the Agua Dulce area, so I thought there might be a couple residents that would be interested. But the Santa Clarita Valley Sanitation District had to raise their rates for this fiscal year after 4 years of no increases. Supervisor Barger sits on this board along with Santa Clarita City Mayor Cameron Smythe and Council Member Lorraine West. The need for the rate increase is primarily to pay for additional operations and maintenance costs due to new state mandated advanced water treatment facility. So essentially they've implemented a new system that removes fluoride from water, and it's causing increased rates essentially. So after they had many community meetings and board meetings, the board did decide on a new rate structure, and it does start this year. So again, if anyone has questions, I'd be happy to get into that. I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time, but I thought there might be someone that would be interested in that. And that's it for me. I'll be here to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Questions? All right. Thank you very much for filling in, and we appreciate the report tonight.
Huh.
Tradition for when we have a hybrid. If you can just hang on, I think in the past, Mary's been able to reboot her side and come back on the meeting. So sorry if you can't hear anybody.
Sounds good, Cindy.
Technical difficulties. It's coming from the in-person side of the Zoom call. Mary's working on it, and as soon as we can, we'll hopefully get all joined together. Thanks for being patient.
Hi, Cindy, can you hear me?
I can, Chris.
I'm the owner of Pepper Tree Market on Sierra Highway. I was just wondering, are we still planning on discussing number 14 Bravo, which is the Pepper Tree Plaza that that we're in the works as far as construction goes?
Yes, Chris, I did see it on the agenda. Um, so I do believe that was going to be brought up a little bit later on.
Uh-huh.
As of right now, I don't know where they are in the in-person meeting. In the past, what ends up happening is the ones that are on the Zoom kind of end up getting caught up. But I will text Mary and let her know that you are on the call and you're expecting to have discussion about Pepper Tree. Is that okay?
It's okay. Do you have a rough idea of what time that would be?
Unfortunately, I don't. I'm really just a community volunteer that helps co-host the Zoom side of the meeting. During the all Zoom, we don't really have a problem. There seems to be only when we're half at the women's club and half on Zoom. I did notice that in the chat it says that Mary just came back in. I didn't see her as of yet, but I will definitely bring it up as soon as we get back on and everybody is in touch with each other again. Because I actually do this from my home. So
I see.
we're all at the women's club. I'm here trying to manage from this side.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Okay. I guess I'll stick around.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. And like I said, I know you're on the agenda.
Hey, Darren.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mary.
Okay.
Okay.
I do have a quick question for you. We have Chris on the line. He's from Pepper Tree, and he was questioning, since we were on kind of hold for such a long time, will we still be getting to the Pepper Tree item, and do you have a rough estimate of when that would be?
Yes, but no. I mean, we don't know what time, but yeah. So we don't know, it all depends on how our connection holds up, but we're going to continue through the items here, and the next item is as a matter of fact, is Scott Wilkes' report.
And that's Natalie.
And I believe Natalie is here, if she can unmute her.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can.
can.
You're loud and clear.
Perfect. So I just want to touch bases on a few of senators' bills that have passed the Senate floor. I'm gonna go over just a few. I have first SB 1146 mortgages. This bill has passed off the Senate floor on May 9th by a vote of 37-0. And pretty much this bill makes a variety of cleanup provisions relating to California's non-judicial foreclosure and mortgage laws. Specifically, this bill makes 6 changes to clarify trustee sale procedures, how bids are made payable to trustees, and when to automatically postpone a trustee's sale. This bill will be heard next in the Assembly Banking and Finance Committee. And then I have another one that has passed the Senate floor is the state SB 1194, the State Parental Advisory Committee. This bill requires the Department of Education to publish the membership for the State Parent Advisory Committee within 30 days, calendar days of the formation or change in membership. So this would improve transparency regarding who represents parents' perspectives on K-12 education policies, and empower all parents to contribute to the discussion. So this bill has moved on to the Assembly and is awaiting referral to the Policy Committee. I do have one more. It's SB 1359. That's the dumping on private property. This is an existing law prohibiting dumping waste on private property unless the property owner possesses the relevant permits for the state or local agency with jurisdiction over the property, or has given permission to dump waste on their property. This bill would require a permit regardless of the permission status. The bill also would have made a violation of this statute a misdemeanor and increased the fines, but unfortunately Senate Appropriations Committee amended these provisions out of the bill. This bill will now be moving on to the Assembly and awaiting referral to a policy committee. So those are just a few of the bills that have passed on the Senate floor and are moving forward.
Great, fantastic. Anybody have any questions for Natalie? Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us here tonight and speaking it out while we had some issues, technical difficulties. But we seem to have it all squared away, so we appreciate your report tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here.
All right. Next up, we have Congressional District Mike Garcia, the U.S. 27th Congressional District, Jackie Owens. No, that's the board. Jackie, are you with us?
She was earlier.
She was earlier. All right.
I think I'm going to go unplug the ADT stuff in the back, because I think every 20 minutes they do a data dump, and that's what's good.
Okay. All right. Well, excuse you. All right. All right. So we're going to put Mike Garcia's report on hold until we hear back from Jackie. And is anybody here from the Santa Clara River Watershed Area Steering Committee, Measure W Watershed Coordinator Amanda? Are you with us tonight?
Hey, actually Amanda is in Ireland for the next 2.5 weeks. So
that's Heather. It's Heather.
I will be filling in for Amanda. My name's Heather, and I'm the community organizer for the Upper Santa Clara River. And our next Watershed Area Steering Committee meeting will be on June 20th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Santa Clarita City Hall. And I will be giving a presentation on the 2024-2025 Strategic Outreach and Engagement Plan. And we'll also be giving our monthly Watershed Coordinator report. And we also have coming up on Saturday, June 22nd at 9:30 a.m. Diane Hellriegel of the St. Francis Dam Memorial Site will be giving a tour, a watershed tour of the dam site. If anyone's interested in that, I believe Chris Udall went in the past. He really enjoyed the history, I know. But if anyone's interested in that, they can see my email is in the agenda, hturpin@treepeople.org. And we also have one more announcement. Tree People, along with California Botanic Garden, was recently awarded a $7 million CAL FIRE grant. And this is going to be to restore oak and conifer and chaparral areas of the burn scars throughout different communities within the Angeles and the adjacent areas around the Angeles Forest. And we're going to kick off with our first site, which will be route fire restoration at Castaic Lake. And that's going to begin in October. And all of the restoration volunteers will be able to enjoy free recreation at the lake. And that's all I have for you today.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate it. Okay. And I don't think we have Jackie. Is she back with us? Jackie? All right. I noticed Tignan from the Department of Public Health showed up. Do you have anything else for it? So you can unmute your mic.
Good evening. We don't have any new updates since last meeting. As I mentioned in the previous meeting, this case was referred to County Council for civil enforcement after the DA dropped the case. So we had a meeting with her today, and she just instructed to just let everyone know that we're currently waiting for consent to enter the property, and if no court and if not, then the court order will be obtained authorizing the entry. We have to do system evaluation, and then we can proceed with the court order. And this is what we have right now. She asked me to provide her email and a phone number, and if anyone have any question, they can contact her. So I can put her email and the phone number in the text message box, and all the contact she asked me to let everyone know is supposed to be with her. So please contact her if anyone has any questions.
What are we even talking about? Wait a minute. What was that all about?
Was that Tegan?
Yeah, Tegan from the
What
health
were we
department.
talking about? Oh, okay, so this is the Sleepy Valley.
Sleepy
So
Valley.
the Sleepy Valley,
Building the illegal trucking, correct?
No.
Yes. Which we took out the agenda,
Okay, good enough.
so we don't really.
okay, thank you very much, and appreciate the report.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up, we have presentations and discussions. A is proposed North Angeles National Forest Monument by Sandra, is it Cattell?
Yeah.
Sandra.
And I don't see her on there.
Oh, who is it? Oh. Okay, well, if she comes back, you'll probably recognize that. Otherwise, we're going to move right on to, along the way to proposed Pepper Plaza at 9661 Sierra Highway presentation. Pepper Tree? Oh. This is the demo of an existing convenience store and build a new 7,540 square foot multi-tenant retail building. Existing gas station to remain as is. County Council reviewing the design only, but the project does not require a public hearing as it is a by right usage using use in C3, that's C3 zone commercial, which is community commercial. So, is there someone out there that would like to share in this report?
Well, did you guys get the CSD standard? I sent it out as to what yeah. And so the commercial and industrial zones, the design of structures, new structures and renovations have been designed such that they are of an old Western, Southwestern, Spanish Mission, Victorian, or Native American architecture. Their facades, materials, roof lines, and exterior finishes conform to the chosen architecture style, and then entrances are set back and is located from the front of the structure. So, in looking at the elevation, they've got the correct tile on the roof for Spanish Mission, but that's about it. I'm going to show one more. Here's a, let me share Zoom so that Cindy, if you're there, could you see a picture of Spanish Mission, or is it the elevation of the pepper tree?
It appears to me like it's the original view of the pepper tree. I don't see any Spanish Mission.
Okay, so I'm going to get out of this. And go to there. 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 Now, can you see more of a Spanish mission house?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So when you look at this, there's arches, a little bell tower. That's really Spanish mission. And I think the Pepper Tree design needs to reflect something more like this as opposed to what they had originally come up with. That's just my input, but in looking at it, let's look back, this stuff was shared. And from the original. Like this area right here, I think you could easily put that bell tower over there and make these arches instead of squared off. I think that would be a better look for Spanish Mission.
Well, and I think that's why the standards were set in the community standards district. We have a number to choose from.
Correct.
So it's a matter of
Old Western.
No,
And it currently is.
Right.
It's more Old Western.
Right, it is more Old Western now.
yeah. So if they, and here again, that's just like a one shot. There's not a whole lot of detail there, except if they can define which of these five this they believe is meeting, then I think we need to validate that. You know, but if it's something where they don't even know about the standard district and what the preferred is, now they've been made aware.
Right. And the reason why this is really important is, I mean, we all look at that monstrosity over at the nature center.
Yeah.
If we had had this in place, it would look. It would
I
look-
did Jose a copy of the, I highlighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the standard, they gave copies of it.
Yeah. So I think there are people from Pepper Tree who are on the call. Can you want?
If that's what their choice is, and that artist picture of what it's gonna look like.
Right.
So what we're saying is, that's great, okay, that's your choice, but in making that choice, these are a few of the modifications that need to be considered to make it look more of that particular.
Right. To make it Spanish edition.
Okay.
So is there? I know that there were people from Pepper Tree. Are you still here?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, I'm there.
So does that make sense to you? What we're saying is if you could just incorporate a little bit more of the arches and you know, take out maybe these things up on top and put little fake bell towers or something up there.
Okay, so hi to the board. Thank you for looking at our project. My name is Ofer Dayan, which I'm involved in this project to develop and create stores for the public and the neighborhood at the mini market that's they can have access to have a more comfortable in with your gas. And regarding the mission tile, we choose the design of mission tile, and the picture that you show, it's more reflected to residential houses, and we are that's in commercial building. And you guys saying that you want to see more mission tile, more clay, more Spanish, and so and arches. So you know, it's I'm looking at the design, and I think that's we've done mission tile before, and then if you want to add more tile and some more Spanish, it's more arches. I mean, I guess we can do it on the elevation of the roof and stuff. If that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, because really Spanish mission style is known for arched openings at windows, entries in arcades. Roofs have overhangs, typically exposed rafters at the eaves, unlike the Spanish colonial. So, this really looks much more modern and more, I would say, like Santa Barbara, and Spanish Mission is really, it's got some of those arches and a bell tower type of thing. So that's what we're looking for, and are hoping you can add that into your exterior design.
Okay, I got it. We're gonna do some more arches, I guess, and you don't want to see any square flat roof, which is we combine, because the ceiling area was request, but I guess we can, the other two elevation roof on where's the window and that's California roof. We should, I'm not, but I'm not seeing anything wrong with that. But if you really want to see over a flat roof, another arch or whatever, I guess we can redesign and get more arches.
I wouldn't say
that's what you're looking for.
No,
the roof actually needs a standard.
Yeah.
It needs like over the window.
The roof is roof because that really works the way that we want it to. It's your doors areas should be, instead of a flat, it could be arched. Your door entrances.
Instead of being boxed.
Yeah, boxed in. And then the little window over here, and it looks like it is a faux window.
Correct.
You could put a faux bell tower.
Okay. So you basically on the interior of the store, the bottom, you want to see more arches on each bay. That's what you're saying, right? And then the window get do some bells.
At a window with red.
Yeah,
so like right there, that would be replace those red awnings with an arch area.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, no problem.
And maybe replace the palm trees with pepper trees.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What are you saying?
Maybe replace the palm trees with pepper trees.
With the pepper, yeah. I mean, this is just a rendering design of it.
Right.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna send us the comments on that hearing, or just what we discussed right now? Any record of it, so we can see exactly what you guys looking for, and then we basically work together with the community, and then make sure we change it and redesign. I mean, according to the meeting today, to the board.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll send a letter to Christina, who is your planner, Christina Carlin, indicating that we talked about it, and it's a good start, but we need to make it more Spanish Mission with some arches and bell.
That's fine. What about that 3 window, the small window? You guys didn't like these 3 windows?
The 3 windows, if they could be arched, it would be better.
Okay.
Yeah, just an arch on the top of the window.
Yeah, just arch it.
Okay, you guys like arches. Okay, that's fine. Just to let you know, you guys dropped the hearing for today on, I think, in the last minute. And then we never been in that hearing that we never know about this hearing gonna go in, and so if I don't mind to give you another address to make sure to send any comments, and also after the redesign, where to send it back, or are we going back to the hearing, or just send you the redesign to somebody to review it, or how do things work?
I think if you send us the redesign, and then we can distribute it, having already done this once, I think if we just distribute it, we can get a thumbs up on the redesign.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
Okay.
You got before we go to plan checkers and moving forward, you guys need to approve the project or to sign on it, on the exteriors? Or?
The only thing that we are involved in is just the adherence to the our standards on the exterior design.
Okay, no problem. So we're gonna redesign and submit it back, and I guess we have the information on the invite for today, and I'm gonna talk with Katrina and then see where to send it. I mean, you guys can review it and then more comments, and or you guys are happy with that, so we move forward to full approval on the project.
Right, because she's got some I think some things that she had asked you to do, and that's outside of our purview. So all we're really doing is looking at the design. So if you can redo the exterior with a little bit more Spanish arch look to it, and send it off to copy to Christina and to us, we'll take it from there.
Perfect.
And just so that you know, we will be having a council meeting next month in July, but we will not be having a council meeting in August. The next council meeting.
What day on July?
It will be the second Wednesday of the month.
It's going to be the 2nd of July?
The second Wednesday in July.
July 10th.
You said July 10th? I barely hear you. I'm sorry. July 10th?
And then there is no meeting in August, and there will be a meeting on the second Wednesday of September.
July 10th. Okay. Hopefully we jump on it. Hopefully it'll be ready, and then we submit, and then we send it back again.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you guys for the comments. Any other question?
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
When are they planning on starting construction?
As soon as we get approval.
Okay. It's within the next year?
Yeah, probably. At the end of the year, maybe approval and then break ground next year sometimes. Not on the winter times, basically.
Where are the gas pumps in relation to what I'm looking at?
Well, this building, it will be in the back. I don't know if you know that gas station. So
oh, absolutely, yeah.
So everything's still on the same location, the gas station. The existing mini mart will be teared down and demo, and then the store will be in the back, all the way to the back. It's not going to be on the street like there was for now. It's going to be way far in the back.
No, that'll be a lot safer. That'll be a lot safer for traffic too.
Yeah. So it's going to be the big parking all the way to the back, and then it's not going to be exposed. It's not going to be like exposure to the street like it was now. It's the market is right now. Only the gas station was still on the same location.
Okay. Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Good enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the board. Appreciate it, and we'll keep in touch after the design will be complete.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Alfred. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. So now we have. Did Jackie ever show back up? Jackie Ellen? All right. So we're going to move right on to the old business, which is the RTG investments. Also, the Agua residential project, TT 50385, and the presentation tonight, or the update, is going to be given by Chris. You know, Chris.
Yeah, could you enable screen sharing? Or we're going that one then. Great. That's Mary. If you want to just go to the next slide.
That's right. I have to do something.
That's right. Well, I've logged in too. I've logged in too. So.
Okay. I just want to make sure, Cindy, can you see the RTG agenda up there?
Yes, Mary, I can.
Okay, perfect.
So we got when we realised that there was things from phase 2 that were going to be built as part of phase 1, like water mains. We put another public records request into Public Works, and it was really associated with what was going on with the water tanks and the pumping facilities for the project. And the disclosures in summary really address the following they show that the phase 2 water mains and the tanks that feed into the rest of the project have been removed from the phase 1 plans that are in plan check right now. There is an indication that there is a water tank which is actually just outside phase 1. It's right on the edge of Valley Sage Road in phase 1. And that is intended to support 140 acres of commercial and a 19-acre school, which is news to me because I read a lot of stuff from 94 and 2007 and none of that was new.
Say that again.
I'll go into it.
Okay.
I'll cover it up in detail. I think there's a good indication that the covenant that Mr. Estes has for provision of water taps in exchange for his easement that he gave to the developer is going to be problematic to the developer in the county, and I'll explain why. This is not just a civil matter as it was described by the county. It also confirms that RTG have, in the recent past, within the last few months, 6 months or so, and I think it's perhaps because of this issue with Mr. Estes' covenant, they proposed to the county that they actually, instead of having the county own the water tanks and the pumping station, that the homeowners association owns them, and they just connect to the county water main, which is on Valley Sage Road. And the other thing that I touched on last time we talked about this, which I think is also very important, is that having reread the maps, the dry sewers that are on these maps serve about 25% of the homes on phase 1. And I'll explain why that's important. And then more recently, there's also been, we learned of some issues between the water board and the developer. It looks like the water board has just hit them with a hefty fine. So can we go to the next one here? So let's try to do water system planning one at one. When you're figuring out how big your water tank is, or how big your pipes need to be and your pumps, you've got to figure out how much you're going to serve to begin with. And that gives you a sense then of how big the storage tanks need to be to meet fire flow requirements, average daily use for a residential property. And these are classified on these maps in what's called pressure zones, and you'll see them referred to as PZ3758, which is a 660,000 gallon tank and a pump house and some 16 and 12-inch mains. And that's, if you look at what RTG is doing on the project right now, that's where they're shaving the top off the hill because the water tank is going to go right there. That is what is referred to in the maps as lot 70. And then when we looked at the disclosures earlier, there was another pressure zone, 3483, that's an 1.8 million gallon tank, some additional pumps, and that's intended to push water from that main into phase 2 of the project. And that water tank is, I think it's probably 2, but that water tank is intended to sit on lot 69 of the project, which is adjacent to Mr. Estes' property, and this is what the easement is related to. And then there's a third pressure zone, which was on the maps in the plans that are in plan check, which is pressure zone 3340, and that's on the parcel 3216018330, which is right on the right-hand side as you drive from Valley Sage Road into the southeastern entry of the project. There's 2 civil engineering firms working on these plans. Hunsaker and Associates are designing the storage tanks, and the pump facilities and KWHT are doing the water mains and the storm drains. We can go to the next one, Gary. So this all started off with a technical memorandum authored by KWC back in March 2020. And it's identified what would be connected to pressure zone 3758. The spec number there is actually the Water District 37. So this is Water District 37, Project 257. And that water tank and those pumps and pipes are going to serve 46 residential units in phase 1. 16 residential units in phase 1, which are classified as PH2, which suggests there might be a second phase of phase 1. And then 21 phase 1 residential lots are going to be built as part of phase 2, which, as you know, is not yet recorded. The calculations also included 5 lots owned by Mr. Estes and another 10 units owned by someone named Chow, who I assume has a similar deal going with the developer that Mr. Estes done. So 62 of the 68 phase 1 homes are going to be served by this 600 to 60,000 gallon tank and the pumps in the pump station. The maximum daily demand is 233,000 gallons a day, and all lots with a pressure over 150 psi would be high pressure meters. We can go to the next slide, Mary. This is the pressure zone for phase 2, and this is what's been removed from the plans. This is known as Water District 37's Plan 189, and this includes those six residential lots for phase 1, 68 residential lots to be built in phase 2, 108 residential lots to be built in phase 3, 50 residential lots to be built in phase 4. They're going to supply water under this proposal to the 61 homes in Sierra Colony, who I assume right now are on a private water system, an additional 17 lots to this person called Chow, and then another 34 lots that are not described in detail because I don't have the attachments to this document where they were disclosed, which are existing residential lots. So when this project was approved and then revised in 2007, it was 315 homes, plus an additional 6. The water system that they're developing here was intended to serve 442 lots, which is actually 40% more than what they told us about in 2007 when the project was approved. So when you take this pressure zone with its daily demand of 818,000 gallons a day, and the previous pressure zone with a demand of 233,000 gallons a day, it's just over 1 million gallons a day in maximum daily demand. We go to the next one. This was the one where I choked on my cornflakes, because this is nothing that we've ever been given any awareness of. Pressure zone 3340 sits, as I mentioned, on the right-hand side, and I'll show a map so you can see this. And this project, this pressure zone, has a District 37 project number. It's District 37 Project 257. And it covers 90 acres, which was referred to as Walker Valley, which I now believe belongs to the current developer, Adtc. And that's located to the south of the project between the phase 1 and the 14 freeway. It includes something called Track 7A, which is a 19-acre school, and Track 7B, which is a 40-acre commercial property. And I think this is the one that was acquired a couple of years ago by this entity called Pacific Jazz Investments, which is along Valley Sage Road, where I think they were proposing to build a nursing home. I know that Acton Town Council has been involved in this. And you'll see here, this has a maximum daily demand, which is slightly more than the maximum daily demand of all the residential stuff that they want to connect to it. And this is nowhere in the 1994 or 2007 approvals. And in fact, if you look at the 2007 document, it basically says we've upsized the water system for additional residential use. I don't say we've upsized the water system for 149 acres of commercial use, which hasn't been studied yet, but evidently which the water district already has a project. If we can go to the next slide. So to give you an idea, this is actually taken from a March 2023 plan. This is phase 1 of the project, and you can see at the very top of the picture the phase 1 tank, which is the 660,000 gallon tank. That's the hilltop that's been scraped off at the moment. You can see the phase 2 tank, which borders the edge of the property. That's where Mr. Esther has granted the easement. You can see the entrance to the property where the pump house is located at the end of that blue arrow. And then you've got this PZ3340 tank, which is sitting outside phase 1, but right on the edge of Valley Sage Road. And you can see that it's designated now as future, even though, to my mind, there's been no planning documents approved or any of that conducted. So if we go to the next, this is the KWC engineers version of the map that gives you a little more detail. This shows all the individual lot numbers. The red dot at the top is the water tank. And the red square in the bottom right corner is the pump house that will pull the water out of the mains up to the pumping station, up to the water tank for delivery to the community. If we can go to the next one. So, one of the emails that I read, the county brought in some contract staff. One of them was a senior civil engineer, and he was charged with doing plan checking of this water pump and tank plan. And there's an email from May 17th last year from LA County Public Works to the project manager at Hunsaker, and he says, look, before we can approve these plans for the pump station and the water tank, you've got to dedicate part of that lot where that water pumping station is going to sit to Waterworks District 37. And in order to do that, you're going to have to give us, with this fee simple title report that's within the last 90 days that proves, one, that you own it, and two, that lot is free and clear from any financial obligations or reasons. Well, Mr. Estes has a covenant over the entire project, and that covenant requires the owners of that project to provide water to him. So it strikes me, just on the surface of it, that Mr. Estes could actually intervene here and demand that the county provides him water. Obviously, we know that it was contemplated in 2020, but the developer has been doing everything that they can to avoid giving Mr. Estes that water. But it seems that two things. If we can go to the next slide, I took a little bit of a dive into the original Estes agreement with the previous owners of the project before it was sold to RTG. And Mr. Estes' agreement is dated May 10th of 2002. And it's an easement over everything. The water tank lots, the pumping station lots, and those properties have been conveyed to the county already. Now, I don't know that the county appears to own, if you look at the property tax records, lot 70 and lot 69, because it says they're government owned and tax exempt. And after the replanning of the maps, I think they called it a large lot recording the project that they went through in late 2023. I think the county also acquired the open space lots last year. But if the county required those conveyances to be free of financial encumbrances, and Mr. Estes had that encumbrance as of the 10th of May, these things weren't recorded until the 15th of May, it's likely that there are clouded titles over these water tank lots. And also that there's a potential showstopper in the county even getting their hands on whatever portion of lot 1 they need because of this encumbrance. So when we raised this with the county back in 2022 and they just went, it's just a civil matter, I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I think they're going to struggle to get free and clear title to these lots they want to adopt, just because of this covenant that Mr. Estes has. We go to the next slide. There's been some dialogue about water system sizing. So back in July of 2023, just under a year ago, there's an email from the mechanical engineering consultant at LA County Public Works to the project manager at Hunsaker saying, look, KWC has had a meeting with us recently, and they're talking about downsizing the tank and the on-site water mains. And I think that's reflective of what we were concerned about last month, which is this project is getting incredibly small. You know, can I put a bucket on a hill with a hose attached to it, the sump pump, and use that to satisfy the water demand for the model houses? Then in November of last year, there's an email from the consultant, the Public Works mechanical engineering specialist, and they're asking, or Hunsaker is saying on behalf of the developer presumably, can we move the booster pumps to a smaller building, and instead of it being located on lot 1, can we put them on lot 68, which is opposite lot 1 on the southeastern side of the project bound. It's basically on the other side of Avenue de Vasquez from lot 1. And can the on-site water system be privately owned and managed by the homeowners association and connected to the county-owned public water system on Valley Sage Road. Now, I think this last comment here is very indicative that they've realised that Mr. Estes has this encumbrance that will prevent them from transferring the property. And the only way to not have to transfer the property is to keep it owned within the project, not owned by the county, and have a private water system on the project, which is clearly not what was discussed in '94, it's not what was discussed in 2007. So if we go to the next slide, there was some additional communication about this year, and the last bit of this is really telling to me. So in January this year, RTG asked for an in-person meeting with Public Works in Alhambra to discuss the siding and the type of the water tank, as well as the piping layout for the current and future phases of the project and the booster station. Effectively, that booster pump station at the entrance to the project is supposed to have 5 pumps in it. 2 that satisfy pressure zone for phase 1, and 3 that satisfy pressure zone for phase 2 of the project. Already we know that the booster station has had those 3 pumps for phase 2 wiped out of it, but what the county is asking the developer to do is, when they set the pad of concrete for that building, they want the piping for those phase 2 pumps in place rather than digging a hole in the floor in the building at some point in the future. But then in April this year, not longer than a month ago, and certainly just before I asked for these records, the project manager at Huntsacker goes to the civil engineer at Waterworks District 37 and says, hey, and they attached that email that we discussed where they were talking about the need for a free type hall and all these requirements. Hey, can we have a meeting to discuss this? And it immediately got shut down. They came back and said, all right, sorry, but from this point onwards, everything on the Adtc project has to be addressed to a gentleman called Ray McGinley, who's the Interim Assistant Director of Public Works, the second in charge in Public Works, is going to be discussing this, frankly, very small project in the middle of our community. So there's been this very, very free and open discussion, dialogue between civil engineers, mechanical engineers, Huntsacker, KWC. All of a sudden, when RTG turns around and starts telling them they want to put a tank in there that's made of glass on steel instead of bolted steel, and can they put 2 tanks in on a different place, and can they have a private water system, everything just got shut down and got diverted to the second in charge. This person actually is above in their hierarchy, Mr. Vanderbiz, who's been our point of contact for this project up until this point. If we go to the next slide, let's talk about sewers. I mentioned in the last meeting that having looked through these water plans, I could see sewers on some of them. I couldn't see a sewer in any of the cross-section of the streets. And this is why. When you go and look at these, if you look at these dotted lines, each of those dotted sections of this picture represents an individual map in the overall sort of layer of different maps for the project that the engineers are putting together. And what you see is the dry sewers only run from a point just at the border of the water tank lot on lot 70, along Lookout Drive down to Avenida Vasquez. There's no dry sewers along Avenida Vasquez. There's no dry sewers on that remaining easterly portion of Lookout Drive, and there's nothing on Sunset Way. If we can go to the next slide. This is just to give you an idea. If you go and drill down, you can see here I've highlighted it in green. That the script in that red circle is an 8-inch sewer. The red line that's vertical is the edge of lot 70 for the water tank. But when you count up the number of lots now that front the sewer in phase 1, only 17 of them, 25%, actually have access to a dry sewer. And as I mentioned last time we talked about this, there's no sewers shown on the cross-section at all with Lookout Drive. If we can go to the next slide. The reason this is important is because if you go to the original approvals in non-PPE, section 4.2 of the original conditional use permit mitigation measures, it says dry sewers are going to be installed to connect the individual lots to the treatment plant. The wastewater order from the Regional Water Quality Control Board, Section 3A, says that a mitigation measure that has to be taken when you're building a subdivision in these rural areas that are going to be reliant on septics is that you have to install dry line lateral sewers that extend to each residential unit and terminate at the public access road. And if you look at Sierra Colony, which was built just before this, using the same or similar approvals from the Regional Water Board, they put dry sewers into each of those projects. And the availability of a wastewater treatment facility was a precondition of LA counties in '94 for the approval of subdivisions in this area, in our community. So it also requires that once that wastewater treatment plant comes online, all the septic systems in phase 1 need to be abandoned within 6 months. Now, how do you abandon those septic systems if you've got no lateral to apply sewage? This is ridiculous, but this is happening right under our noses. We go to the next slide. Last month we learned that there have been some violations issued by the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board. They obviously have oversight of this because there are waters of the state there. My understanding, and I don't have a copy of this document, but I think the Water Board has fined RTG $320,000 and change for permit infractions that occurred on phase 1. And I think there's two potential categories that these fines could fall under based on what we've seen. One could be that they hadn't properly implemented this stormwater pollution plan. LA County, there was some correspondence that I saw from earlier this year between Mr. Vanderbilt and Mr. Estes that showed that the project had just been brought up to compliance with the SWIP, or the Stormwater Pollution Plan. And there have been 2 heavy rain events in 2023 and 2024, which would have been concerning to the Water Board. And also we know that in the middle of last year, the biologist who's supposed to be on site monitoring what they're doing, walked away. And he said, look, I'm done. You haven't paid me for so long, and then went and filed a bunch of liens. So I don't know which of those this is related to, but that's a pretty hefty fine that the Water Board has meted out on RTG. So we go to the next slide. So I think, you know, if you look at what we've learned over the course of these disclosures, and it pains me that we've had to go through this process. If you look at the 1994 approvals, there's a statement in the conditional use permit that says any revision or modification of the tentative map or the conditions of approval need to require the notification of the Agricultural Town Council so we know what's going on. And the only way that we've been able to get any information out of the county on this is by beating them over the head with public records requests. And I don't think that's in any way in keeping with the spirit of what they agreed to when this project was first put into play. We know that the 20-inch water main along Sierra Highway and Adtc Road was installed without any valid bonding at all. Now we know the developer was attempting to downsize and effectively piecemeal the execution of phase 1. You know, we see this map of phase 1 with Lookout Drive and Avenue de Vasquez and Sunset Drive. I have no sense, and frankly no confidence, that what the county will allow the developer to do is just build a road from the water tank down to the malls and forget the rest of the infrastructure and pay that, and then go to the county and say, well, you know, because we're only doing a fraction of the roads, can we have bonding for, you know, $2.99 in a bag of Cheetos? I just don't know about what that water system is required to do. We can go to the next slide. This is the last one. So we passed a resolution, and I think we're going to reiterate that resolution later on in this meeting. We've got enough information now, I think, to lay out our concerns very clearly to the supervisor as to what's going on here and what our concerns about. I think now we know that there's this pressure zone 3340, which is wastewater district 37's 256 plan. We should ask the county to tell us what's going on there and the public records request. I mean, theoretically, they should be telling us, but they're not. We should figure out with regional planning whether anything's been discussed with regional planning and concepts about that parcel number where that 3340 tank is going. And I think just as a matter of closure, we should submit a public records request to the State Water Board for information related to the recent fire. But I think we also owe the Water Board now we can see all these problems between the Water Board and the developer. This grievance was filed by the community in 2022 in regard to the Water Board gave them a dredging for a permit. I think the council should write to the Water Board and ask them what the hell's going on in consideration of the fact that there's a fairly heavy fine being handed down now to the developer for some type of infractions that the Water Board are happy with. So again, I'm speechless. I don't feel more written here. There's a Trojan horse being wheeled into our community here, and I think we have a right to know at a great degree more detail what's going on. And I think the county understands that we kind of figured this out, and that's why they've shoved us up to the second in command now, as being the person who has oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. So, thoughts?
The commercial development school, belongs to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have been part of this since 2007.
I never once was that a shot.
No, that is, you're bringing that up tonight. It's the first way.
Right, and I guess that was brought up at the meeting, that, the meeting they had that Friday, that they let everybody know the Friday morning.
Oh, the horse?
Yeah, whatever.
Horse people?
Yeah. And that's, I think, it was brought up at that meeting.
Oh, really?
That's the first I heard. Because Pam Walker, she said, yeah, well, I didn't know they were going to put it in commercial. I didn't know they were put it in school. Well, apparently, this was, they went to talk about the horse strips, but they ended up sabotage, all the other parts of the puzzle. So it sounds to me like everything's changed. It sounds, and it's changed without any of the normal protocol that's required.
Right, because if you change something, you've got to start all over again.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sure that LA County will argue that that's outside the boundary of phase one. And technically that pressure zone is inactive, but the 90 acres that it's going to serve, the biggest chunk of that commercial property, is inactive.
Right.
And it's owned by the developer. So this project has never looked wrong since we picked it up. What do you say? There's just nothing you can say other than there is somebody or some bodies in LA County Public Works, LA County Regional Planning, who are trying to circumvent a whole bunch of things that shouldn't be circumvented. And I don't know what their motivation is to do.
And why do you think it's the dry sewers are only in that limited amount?
I don't know. Because what I asked for in the last round of public record disclosures that came along with this information was the sewer improvement plan for Tract 50385, and I got nothing. So I'm going to have to go back and ask for just the sewer improvement plan. So whoever reads these public records requests gets past the first bit and gives us the second bit. In fact, there's going to be no second bit. It's just going to be sewer improvement plan. And I think we've got to raise this with supervisor. I know John raised this question of, well, who's qualified to read a map? I'm a state certified water operator for treatment and distribution. I understand how to start at the beginning and look at these plans and figure out what they're actually talking about in terms of pumping capacity. There's a massive amount of civil engineering data. They've been in touch with Edison, with the electrical supply, with these water pumps. They're going to figure out the force power. It's all about how far they're going to pump it. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they've done. And these plans with public works, whether the mechanical engineers or the civil engineers, it takes them about a year to go through plan check. For them to look at all of this and say, okay, fine, this makes sense. Here are our comments, now give us the revisions of the plan. So that it's not the only project that public works is looking at in the plan check. And when the developer turns around 3 months ago or 4 months ago, whenever it was, and says, hey, why don't we just take the pumping station from over here and put it over here? It's not a simple process. Because these poor people at KWC and Hunsaker, they're going to go, okay, fine, well now we need a soils report for this part, where this is going to sit. And now we've got to take all those water pipes that are over here and pull them over here and make them connect down here. So it's not a trivial project. It's not just a case of, I'm going to put it there instead. It's not a horsey yard. It's a municipal pumping station.
And usually all that is done with preliminary, the conceptual plan.
Yeah.
We decide, hey, we can put it here, we can put it here.
And if you go back to April of 2022, and Adtc signed this agreement with Public Works, it says we're going to put in this much pipe, we're going to put in 20-inch main, 12-inch main, and 16-inch main, this tank and that tank and the other tank. I mean, that agreement that was signed back in 2022, I'm being facetious when I say that let's put a bucket and hose at the top of the hill, but it's getting to that point in this problem. Right? It's not. This is not a developer that looks like they've got the wherewithal to deliver this. I mean, they have to pay the biologists, they have to pay the people who put the water main in it, Sierra Pike and Palisade. There's a revolving door of equipment operators coming in and out of the facility. I'm sure that's for financial reasons too, and now they've been slammed. We know they haven't paid the San Fernando Valley, the San Fernando branch of Mission Indians for their oversight of the project. And they were told last year they're going to do that. This is not looking like something that we're going to be looking at with a bunch of houses. It's going to be looking like a straight tough building that this poor guy wakes up with his neighbours and looks at every day for the rest of his life.
Well, what can we do as representing the community for, and what would we request in the letter? It just seems to me like there's quite a bit that's been changed.
Well, I actually think that they're misleading the supervisor, because we've raised some legitimate concerns about this project, and that those concerns have been farmed out to people in public works. And then we get told we're going to pat it on the head and sit in the corner.
Really, a lot of the concerns that we have had have just been dismissed.
And now it's escalated.
Which is disturbing.
Right, but I figured out that's the way public works works. But as Chris has delved deeper and deeper into it, it's not that we've been dismissed, we've been lied to. And in the same vein, Supervisor Barger has been lied to.
And I think our letter to us would say it in exactly that way.
Yeah.
And you'd be misled, misrepresented, and lied to. And
Yeah,
the county's conduct is completely outside the spirit of what was agreed and is embodied in that 1994 approval of this project.
I hate
Chris.
literally.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I've just been kind of listening in here, and I have a little bit of history on this, but I just want to make sure you guys are gonna share this with Stephanie, or already have, just so I will share whatever I absorbed tonight, but I just want to make sure you guys are communicating with her on this. I know you have in the past, but I just wanted to make sure. So
Yeah, we'll send her a copy of the
presentation.
Okay, great. Just so we can help you in any way we can, and we can be in the loop.
We'll send her a copy of the letter to Supervisor Barger as well.
Amazing. Thank you.
And I think we actually need to sit down with the supervisor in this face to face, go through this. I don't think it's, I think Public Works, for whatever reasons, best known to themselves, are trying to obfuscate a lot of stuff here.
Well, I think in our letter that we can outline our big concerns, and then to indicate to her that we would be willing to sit down with her to talk to her in a meeting to further answer any of her questions, or if she wants to have Public Works in there, or whatever. But I think a face-to-face meeting after she gets the letter, so she can digest it, is worth asking. Because we don't ask to do that unless it's really serious.
But face-to-face, I think that's really, really, really important.
Yeah, but we'll send her the letter,
Right.
and then ask for a meeting, because she needs to digest it, understand
And
it.
do her research.
Right.
So that, because we want to, if we're gonna have a meeting, let's have a meeting where there's gonna be some answers.
Right.
Otherwise, they go to the meetings and they go, well, we'll find out and get back to you.
Right.
We've had that for 2 years.
Yeah, so I'm thinking through some of this, you know, and I'm trying to consider what type of reply we're going to get back from District 37, for instance, about this pressure zone 3340, which is to serve schools and commercial. And also, we haven't, you know, it's not, but you have a project number for it.
Yeah.
You have a spec that this thing can be built to. Sitting there on a map, and you didn't turn around to the civil engineers when they put these maps and plans in front of you and say, hey, you know what, that's not approved, we haven't done anything about it, take that off. It's on the plan marked as future. And I think
And there's nothing in the 1994, 2007 approvals that have any of that included.
No, all
It's
the
like 2000 plan, but they're working out an old permit.
all that the 2007 says when it comes to the water system is it says the water, and we took this up with the county a little while ago. The water system is being upsized for residential purposes,
Right.
not commercial, for residential.
Right.
Commercial is never.
And getting back to that, back in 2007, there was discussion with other neighbors and close people who were affected by it, and they said, can we get hooked up? And at the time, the developer said, we are not sizing it for anything except the project.
Yeah.
People over all those outside ones, for sure.
Well, yeah, you've got them
Possibly all.
Right, that 70,
You've increased it by 25% in price, because you've gone from 315 to 440.
right, but it was 315 homes. That was what it was, the system was gonna be maxed out at 315. So now they're adding in
School.
and
doubling the water demand, and
how,
yeah, Acton should be concerned with that, because part of the water that's in that pipe comes from
right,
from their wells down by the pipe.
yeah, there's just a lot more, piping going to additional,
Do we need to send a letter to Acton Town Council as well?
we can probably copy them on what we send.
But they're involved also with this nursing home.
Right.
So, okay.
Okay, so, are you ready to put together, because we've been holding off on the supervisor part, or you are?
I own
Okay,
for all this reams of stuff.
okay, okay, it'll be a long letter.
Okay.
And then, so, we've already approved that, so we don't need to do anything more there. And then submit the public records request for information related to the sewer improvement. Yes, that's what we want.
Yep.
We want you to do that.
That was really one of our major concerns back in day one.
Right.
Was the sewage.
Right.
And all the neighbors were concerned. It's like, what's gonna happen? Oh, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that until the wastewater, and that's kind of the way they got the community, if anything, in favor of the development, being that, as I recall, it was all gonna be on sewers, and the community would benefit because the effluent of the water treatment plant would go back into the groundwater, recharge.
Yeah.
100,000 gallons a day or whatever it
Right,
is.
and that
Now,
was,
looking at the figures that Chris has brought up, it's 1 million gallons a day. So, you know.
that was one thing that, the developer, Casulas, at the time agreed to. That was negotiations back and forth. And then when Adtc took over, it's like, no.
Yeah.
And the county said, we don't have to do that. It was 1992 approved with septic system.
Yeah, I also don't know the degree to which the people who live in Sierra Colony know that they're going to get asked to take public waters. And what the cost per home will be.
You know, I think that's just, our system is set up, it's a county accepted system. In other words, when that system was installed and put in, it was per county specs. In fact, at one time, they were gonna build a high school, remember, up on, at Thomas Road. Okay, and the high school, they were gonna bring water to the high school, and then they were gonna connect that, continue that water on to the Sierra Colony thing, and then I'll just fill through, you know.
Well, because that's not the way to get water to a development, is to do it through a public school.
Well, yeah.
And that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Somebody came in and said,
Yeah,
that's not
it's not gonna.
the route.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we've already been, this letter has really already been approved.
And you can do the public records request, another public records request for the development on the tank lot. And then, public records to State Water Board on the fine and the follow-up on the grievance.
Yeah, I don't think we need a resolution for the last three.
No.
I'll just send it in on the part of the council. It's part of our ongoing quest to understand what's been going on here. I'm kind of scared about what I might get back.
Yeah.
But certainly we have enough information now to write that letter to Supervisor.
Right,
Barr.
it's like every month that you look for stuff, there's more layers that come out.
Yeah, it's derogatory against the developer, or it's highly questionable activity on the part of the county.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so I don't think we need to do any formal approvals at this point.
Format, an effort to be most inclusive, continuing the information will continue virtual meetings and have an in-person hybrid meeting once a week.
Oh, wait. Is anybody from the community group?
Oh,
Marcy, I see.
Marcy,
I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Want to give us
Hi,
stuff?
everybody.
Okay.
The fun never ends, right?
I know. Right.
Just there's, we have no updates. We just keep getting, information as Chris gets information and as you guys get information. We're in touch with our attorney regularly and updating him on everything that's going on so that he, can advise us as to when and if there's anything we can do. So the game continues is all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, Chris, for everything.
You're welcome, Marcy. Thank you.
The first hybrid meetings are March, June, September, and December. December will be an in-person only meeting because that's when we do the installation of the people. And you mentioned, well, we're talking about it as far as, it looks like it's going pretty good. Have we got the bugs out of it?
Well, I think unplugging the cameras back there.
Okay, I did it.
Yeah.
Because it's been over 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So, formal approval of actions taken at virtual meetings, that this is what we agreed to do if we were going to go virtual. And so we need to have, do we want to do these as a group? Or, okay.
I think we need to just indicate what the motions were.
Okay.
And then approve everything at the end all at once.
Okay.
If that's agreeable to everybody.
Okay. So, October 2023, no action taken, so we're clear there. But in November 2023, there was a motion to have an in-person only, not hybrid meeting for our non-business holiday December meeting. Okay? So does someone want to make you want to make?
Let's go through them all and then through.
Next, January 2024. Move to send a letter to Regional Planning Planner, Christopher Keating, indicating the Birdman's presentation of their proposed project at the January 2024 meeting, and there was no opposition to this project. Now, number 2 under that same meeting was we moved to send a letter to Supervisor Barger outlining Chris's concerns. He has to discover through his public records requests and disclosures and articulated during the presentation at the meeting.
So that's actually the approved letter that Chris will end up submitting.
Exactly. Okay, because the next meeting date falls on Valentine's Day, when we could have the most participation, moved to the February 14th meeting to the following Wednesday, which would be February 21st, which we did. So then our February meeting, we moved to have Chris contact Credit Suisse to confirm whether credit has been renewed or determine the status for Adtc project. Number 2 in that same meeting was moved to send a standard letter indicating that the council will not initiate agendizing the airport, but if we receive a request in the future from the public, we will accommodate that request. April 2024 meeting, we moved to send a letter to MEHKO, which is the kitchen ordinance, staff indicating the community concerns. Moved to send a letter to regional planning staff, including Mr. Andros of the Econ group of ATP attended the duly noticed May meeting to present his proposed project. Community concerns, including the issues shown above, based on the information presented to the Adtc Council, requests the community concern be addressed prior to approval of the conditional use permit. Second item was brought up on that May 24th. General meeting was moved to send a letter to MEHKO staff with concerns not including in the draft ordinance with request for inclusion. Okay.
So I move to formally approve all the motions listed above taken at virtual meeting.
Okay.
I'll mention that motion. I second.
Okay. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed.
I just have one final question. Did we ever get to a point where we motioned to write to the developer and asked them to stop misrepresenting the council's support for this project?
We didn't do that formally.
They were supposed to be here tonight. They were supposed to be at the last meeting virtual. And they didn't, they called for what, Sarah really wrote about it. But, as he told them how she wasn't, they, just gave her, because the guy was real pushy. What was his name? The new guy, the PR guy, you said you knew, Artac or something like that, or I couldn't. Anyway, so, she said the next meeting, which is going to be in June, going to be an in-person meeting, and they were going to they wanted to have a meeting where they could answer questions from the community.
Well, if they want to do that, they need to contact us.
Well, exactly, and they need that's what open forum is for to start with.
Right.
But then, and I directed them to our website saying if you want to be agendized, what's going to happen?
Fill out.
So when they had it done that, then I did it. So what? Go back to.
It was Chris got that letter indicating that they wanted him to consult with them, and that they had been in contact with the town council. So we need to address that so that they know that we know they're not being truthful in their correspondence.
And we need to formally ask them to
Stop
stop
doing it.
misrepresenting our support for the project, because we withdrawn support from this project from March or April of 2022. When we figured out all the things that wouldn't happen back then.
So, let's put this under the RTG. Turn it into bullet points. So, move to contact RTG to stop misrepresenting your supposed communication, your alleged communication. If there has been no communication with council, except for that November 2021, 22 meeting.
Right, when we give them those questions.
Right.
Yeah, so what they said in that was that we're currently engaged in the development of residential properties in Piccadilly, didn't mention anything about commercial. As part of a burgeoning new development venture, one of our primary focuses is fostering relationships with the local community and collaborating with small and medium-sized businesses. As it stands, the majority of our current workforce comprises local professionals. During recent discussions with the town council, your name came up as someone with expertise in marketing and business planning. Yeah.
She's our chair, I'll take it.
So move to contact RTG to stop misrepresenting their alleged communication with the council. Make it simple like that, and then we'll be more specific once we get to the question. Okay, so I'll make that motion.
Second, that by Scott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah.
Yeah, that was, we talked about it, Chris, but we never formally did anything.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to do it.
All right. So.
Thank you.
Okay. So, public hearing, community meetings, workshops, Edison's having a law called Safe Youth Community Meeting live stream tonight, not tomorrow, between 6 and 7:30 at night. Go on their website, SCE.com. All about it. LA County Office of Cannabis Management's workshop this Saturday, next Saturday, a couple Saturdays from now, June 29th at 11. Court Sale Library. That's happening in Q. From now through September, focus will be on different topics each month to help community members understand the changing world of cannabis and the importance of a regulated cannabis industry. June workshop topic will be understanding cannabis rules and regulations. Right. So incoming correspondence for notice, will be notified about it, regional planning plans filed, got authorization, just the course enclosure, medial, general plan with, Payment Road. Carousel Ranch is having a RWS fundraiser. Road, they've got a patio, Colorado, they've got solar, single family residence. All this game, 66 square back. It's going to be at Sweetwater Valley. They want to go with burn safety planning for existing beds, hospital new room see everybody else about that. Bill, relevant to condition compliance application, same thing, ADU number, one of this, you can find this on the site, local, or, Jenna. Vista Lane, retroactive approval for bond grading completed on the property for the horses and White Lots Lane for existing shed. Alright, so now it's open forum, which at this time, if somebody has something they want to share with us, it takes less than 2 to 3 minutes, we'll entertain that. Yeah?
Yes.
Well, I did. Oh, perfect, okay.
If you can come up here.
Okay. And your name is?
Hi, my name's Jim Abernathy. And one of the things that was brought up by a couple different people was the billboard actually out front, the Women's Club.
Yeah.
And they were talking about doing like a programmable LED sign rather than the old slide doors and put up the letters, climb ladders.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility to do here in our Dulce at the Women's Club?
Do we have anything but this is, we are not governed by what LA County has to say.
In our community standards, because there is some stuff in there about light and sign.
Yeah.
I have to answer that.
But there's some pipeline that they just did, and they probably have to turn it off for those guys.
Well, I would imagine, I don't think this thing's lit all the time either. So, I mean, I don't think that would be an issue.
So let me just see.
One of the reasons for that is like there's a couple events coming up in the next few weeks. So one side of the billboard's got one event, one has the other. The programmable, they can run. So this way it comes from both sides, no matter which way you're going, you get to see it.
Instead of even taking the time to do this, I will contact regional planning with a letter, just an email, and ask them about if it would comply, because I know when the CSD went through, Hamlin, it was a big sign for us. She tried to kill us on potential signs.
Yeah.
So let me check on that and see if it's allowed. Yeah.
Perfect. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Can I put my hand up?
No. Yeah, Chris, yes, Chris, go ahead, please.
The other thing that passed through my mind while I was going through this process of looking through the agricultural project was that each of these residential areas, these homes, is 2 acres. And it's fine for an ADU. There's plenty of space for an ADU, and it has municipal water, but it has septic systems. So, again, it's another reason why we need to be very concerned about the absence of dry sewage. So it just, and when I saw the ADU reference, I go,
And it couldn't happen to many of you, could be double. Could be double. The sewage could be double.
yeah, the voltage on the voltage would be double too.
Water and water.
8 million gallons maximum use a day. For this part.
And that's one of the big items that Acton was basically concerned about, water.
Yeah.
Yeah, rightfully so. All right. Okay. All right, so we're clear.
Anybody?
High speed rail.
Anybody up there?
I don't see any hands. So, high speed rail update, on the link section, final PIR EAS document has been released. Anybody would like to comment right now, we could be long, it'll probably choke your computer.
It did.
It did.
It did.
I know.
tried.
I know.
I tried.
They gave me a thumb drive, and the thumb drive just about choked mine. But it's only like, I don't know, 98,000 pages or whatever it is. But there's different sections, but it's a beauty. So it's available. I had thumb drive at the office, and it's got their name on it. Awesome. If anybody wants to use it, feel free. And I did.
The preferred alternative is they go to 14A alternative, which is the one that was preferred in the draft together.
Right.
And it is the least offensive. The only thing we tried to do was to add underground down at Aguilos Canyon where it came out of grade because of the sound traveling.
Right.
And
but at least in Acton, it looks like it's all going to be
pretty much all underground,
okay.
by the Pacific Crest Trail underground. So it's just at Aguilos Canyon Road, and the reason why it pops up, because I went through the responses. That was 1,096 pages, but I found ours.
Yeah.
They did respond to it, and it said that unfortunately we can't do that because in order to go underground, it would be too steep of a grade.
Right.
And that's what they told us in the meeting, but we just put it out there.
Yeah.
So it's the best that we can get, and hopefully it will never happen in our life.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just get more and more designed, and the price tag will go up. We would actually, so, you know, all in all, I think it's a happy medium. We responded to the whatever, but it's just when they give you these documents, it's incredible. So anyway, the EIL is presented to the authority board of directors for consideration for sequel certification and project approval on June 26th, on June 27th. That doesn't happen.
No.
Okay. For more information, go on the website here. New business, county country fair participation. We participate, aren't we, in the parades? No. We're talking about being at the actual program.
Whatever we want to do.
Right, what does everybody want to do? We want to think about it and bring our ideas back to the next meeting? All right.
Well, I think we should definitely be in the parade.
Yep.
We'll be in the parade.
And,
I will donate.
And I was gonna say, can we do the pickup? And,
We can definitely do the pickup.
okay, got it.
If we do the free parking lot as well, for projection.
I mean, we're gonna have a couple of
You
t-shirts.
decorated.
I have
Okay.
some t-shirts and haircuts.
Yeah, will you give him a ride
I-
this year?
So my son Cole has a t-shirt making machine invisible, so he could make us, we just need to give him the design and he can make it. So we'll have to get sizes and what color.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And then, I don't know if we wanna, Chris, were you thinking more of actually being part of the fair and doing anything there? Okay.
Quite happy to.
He just wants that.
I should want to I didn't feel no recognises
I would be happy to bring hiding behind it.
All right.
Okay, so just the parade. So we'll,
approval of our participation in the parade, and then I guess do we want to buy the tickets like we did last
yeah,
time?
yeah, that was a good way to do it.
Okay.
Do we know if it's gonna be the same place as last year? Have we
I
heard?
think it is. I think it's gonna be in,
That's big.
the parking lot.
That was big.
Yeah.
That was a big change and a big improvement.
Yeah.
Remember the accent? Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So now how's Rosie doing?
Still hanging in there.
All right. So committee reports, and she's number one. So we'll wait to get that. Remember, that was the mission. Film committee.
6 jobs this month?
Good. Marks and Trails.
Okay. I am ready to ask for Stephanie and the supervisor's help on the Vasquez Rocks deal, because I have sent another follow-up. I started this in April.
Yeah. When it was raining, yeah.
When it was raining. No longer raining, and it's kind of, I'm sure, off the main thing, but this stuff needs to be taken care of. Because what the problem is, I think Vasquez Rocks is coming up with their own policy on park access after rain. And if that's the case, be upfront about it, because I don't think you can do that.
Well,
And then, otherwise I need to see the whole policy that's stated
What's the
in the
same?
park, and that's part of LA County Code. So I think I'm going to send another letter to Sarah, the supervisor over there, saying, I've been waiting for an answer since April, hope you can do it, and copy Stephanie.
Cool. That would be
Because
good.
that knocks things up.
Okay, great. Water stewardship, hey. We're actually seeing wells, we did a well test today. Before rain, it was like 0.27. Today it was 3.5.
You're kidding.
I won't say where it's at, but we'll see.
No?
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing little places, it's like, and Matt came in and said, hey, we got this proof right here. He pulled the file, there was a test that was done 3 years ago, there's a test that was done today, like, oh, that's big. So,
My water supply seems to be extremely strong, but
Yours
we have
is
a really nice pump from Donnie.
now, may wash down, maybe your house may wash down the hill, but other than that, it's no big deal. Right, good, so that's the water report. So we'll just keep an eye on it. The real test is gonna be obviously August 8th. But right now, we've never had turnaround like this before.
Well, and if you're driving up 14 and you look at Santa Clara, there's still water.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you're right down at the Sand Canyon area, you look over the edge, you'll see water still.
Love seeing water this time of year.
And Colombo, Lighthouse Ranch,
Yeah.
all of their ponds are full. They did not have a good flower season just because of the hot and cold.
Right.
And so they did not have a good crop at all, but the water out there is strong.
Good. Good. We need water. Disaster planning, oh, excuse me, wait, ways and means, Scott.
I just spoke.
Disaster planning, Gary, Chris.
Yeah, we have a cert container behind us, thanks to LA County Fire Department heavy equipment. And there's been a few meetings with people from the Women's Club, emergency team, and CERT members of the community, and there's an agreed upon list of equipment that is being purchased at the moment to go inside it, using the grants that have been offered by the supervisor's office and by SCE.
Cool. They get the lock thing figured out, lock it up, too.
Yep.
Scott.
And there is just a little bitty tiny spot to get that. If you get a water change,
It can fit.
Fire department heavy equipment made that. If you ever if you ever need anything moved
They're the ones.
that can't physically be moved, they can do it.
That's awesome. Okay. All right, so announcements. Household hazards, well, I already have this. Joseph mentioned all this stuff, the e-waste collection for Saturday. And again, on our website, we've got all this stuff. Mattress, tires. Capital Rhode Island Council meeting next is June 26th, 7 p.m. Tonight was June 20th. It's going to be the next meeting at City Hall. And the next Agua Council meeting is going to be held virtually via Zoom, July 10th, 2024. So future agenda items of the works, come back doctors about solid waste, this is set up for the meet draw hire. So if Joseph comes our next meeting, I'm sure you'll look up there on that. Yeah, man, I'd like to put a motion to adjourn this. I'll make that motion. All right. And second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I've been trying to interject and ask a question for a while. I haven't had the chance. I really appreciate all the work you guys do. Is there any better map than what's on the Facebook page of the project?
I'm sorry, who?
A better.
What? Could you just introduce yourself?
We're losing it.
Is there any better map available than what's on the Facebook page?
Map for what? Of Agua Dulce?
No, of the project.
The
RTG project?
Yes, the one where the red lines are drawn with the cross. Are those accurate or semi-accurate?
Are you talking about the residential project? What
Yes,
project?
yes,
are you-
yes, the residential project.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so the presentation that I gave tonight with those excerpts of those maps on it will be on the Agri-Dulce Town Council's website at agtowncouncil.com.
Okay.
And all the previous presentations are on there too. So if you go to the website, scroll down the page, you'll see all the presentations we've given of the project. And very early on, in about March of 2022, I gave a presentation where the project, I took maps and that showed it in quite a lot of detail. So if you want the ones that we looked at tonight, check back in a few days when we've loaded it up. If you want some of the previous ones, just go to the website and sort through the PDFs that are there.
And that's got all the county approved stuff back in 1992.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what the line that comes off of Sierra Highway and pretty much runs primarily south, it's right in the S turn of Sierra Highway. What road is that?
That is a road that is intended to be a secondary access to the project when phase 2 is built. Now phase 2 hasn't been recorded yet and needs to be recorded by September or October of 2027, otherwise the whole thing just goes away.
Okay. So we're at least 8-9 years from any building going on over there anyway.
I think that what they're doing at the moment on phase 1 on Valley Sage Road is rough grading. They would need then to get the plans for the water system, the storm drains, what's called a precision grading plan approved, and that could take quite some time, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's such a mess just looking at it from the freeway. It's the home builders that I've talked to, the guys who've been building, they say that, I know a couple guys in the area that they've built multiple residential projects, and they say they cannot figure out what they're doing up there.
Neither can we.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
I think they've got a reasonable good idea.
All right, so this meeting.
Okay. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll make that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This meeting official. Now officially, get the votes. Aye, the vote is over.
Hi, can I say a few words, please?